Hello, my dear SSLC students. Welcome to our SSLC Mathematics Preparatory Series. In this video, I am solving all the 3 marks questions of SSLC Maths Preparatory Exam 2. Almost all the questions are repeated from the previous year question paper, but step by step we will understand the method of each and every problem and verify the results and build confidence to score full marks. Let's begin our journey into today's problem. Now let us begin. There are 9 questions of 3 marks is totally 27 marks. Now the 25th question, as I have already told, this question is also a repeated one. This has appeared in one of the previous year question paper. Find the zeros of the quadratic polynomial p of x is equal to x square plus 6x plus 8 and verify the relationship between the zeros and the coefficient. There are 2 parts in the question. In the first part, we have to find the zeros. So, now let us find the zeros of the polynomial. The given polynomial is p of x is equal to x square plus 6x is equal plus 8. Now we have to equate it to 0 since we have to find the zeros of this polynomial. This is a quadratic polynomial and we can solve it by splitting the middle term or factorization method. Now we have to find 2 numbers such that sum of them equal to 6 and product of them is equal to 8. 4 and 2 are such numbers. So now we can write x square plus 4x plus 2x plus 8 is equal to 0. Now let us group the first 2 and the last 2. We can see here the x is common, here 2 is common. So it is equal to x into x plus 4 plus 2 into x plus 4. So observe here x plus 4 is common. So it is equal to x plus 2. This x and this plus 2 into x plus 4 is equal to 0. So x plus 2 is equal to 0 or x plus 4 is equal to 0. It means x is equal to negative of 2 transpose here or x is equal to negative of 4. So now we have 2 zeros. They are negative of 2 and negative of 4. Therefore the zeros of the polynomial, let them be alpha and beta. Alpha is equal to 2 negative of 2 and beta is equal to negative of 4. Now let us come to the second part. Let us verify the relationship between the zeros and the coefficients. Here the zeros are negative of 4 and negative of 2. Sum of the zeros is alpha plus beta. Here that is equal to, according to coefficient, it is negative of b by a. Negative of 4 plus negative of 2 is alpha plus beta, that is equal to negative of 6. Here negative of b is 6, so negative of 6, a is 1, which is equal to negative of 6. So alpha plus beta is equal to negative of b by a. Product of zeros, alpha into beta, that is equal to c by a. Alpha is negative of 4, beta is negative of 2. If you multiply, you will get 8. Negative into negative, positive. C is 8, a is 1. 8 by 1, that is also equal to 8. Both the sum and product of the zeros match the expected values based on the coefficients, verifying the relationship. Now the 26th question, which is taken from the chapter Coordinate Geometry. What is the question here? Find the ratio in which the line segment joining the points A 1 comma negative of 5 and B negative of 4 comma 5 is divided by the x-axis, and also find the coordinates of the point of division. Now let us solve it. What has been given? Points A and B. A is 1 comma negative of 5, B is negative of 4 comma 5. Now we have to find the coordinates of the point of division and also the ratio. Here also two parts are there. To understand the problem, now let us have a graph sheet like this. Let us plot the points A 1 comma negative of 5 and B negative of 4 comma 5. This is the line which joins the points. Here observe that y coordinate is 0. We have to find the coordinates of the point of division. So, and x coordinate may have some values. Through the graph sheet we can find, but we have to calculate it to gain full marks. Okay, and also the ratio. X-axis, this is x-axis, divides this line AB in M1 is to M2 ratio. Let it be. We have to find M1 is to M2. So now we can solve it because we have visualized the problem here. Now the x-axis divides the line segment joining the points A and B. So the point of division lies on x-axis. Through graph paper, you have understood this one. Its y coordinate is 0. Let x-axis divides the line segment in the ratio M1 is to M2 at the point P x comma 0, because the point coordinate of x may have some values. We don't know. We have to calculate it. Y coordinate is 0. By using section formula, you have to write it very clearly. You know it very well. M1 x2 plus M2 x1 upon M1 plus M2, comma M1 y2 plus M2 y1 upon M1 plus M2. Now substitute y is equal to negative of 5, y1 is equal to negative of 5, y2 is equal to 5 and y is equal to 0 in y is equal to m1 y2 plus m2 y1 upon m1 plus m2. Y is equal to 0. Substitute it. y2 is equal to 5. y1 is equal to negative of 5, m1 plus m2. You have to find the ratio. Since y is equal to 0, we have taken this one. Now, cross multiply. This one becomes 0. m1 into 5. 5 m1. m2 into negative of 5. Negative of 5 m2. That is equal to 0. It means 5 m1 is equal to 5 m2, means m1 is equal to m2. So the ratio is 1:1. They are equal. Now let us find the coordinates of x coordinate. How to find it? We have the values for x1, x2 and m1, m2. Just now we have find out, isn't it, m1 and m2. Let us substitute it in m1 x2 plus m2 x1 upon m1 plus m2. Let us substitute. What we will get x is equal to negative of 4 plus 1 upon 2, which is equal to negative of 3 by 2. So the point of division is negative of 3 by 2 comma 0. So let us stress it once again. M1 is to M2. The ratio is 1 is to 1 and the point of division is negative of 3 by 2 comma 0. Now the 27th question. Find the mean for the following frequency distribution table. This is a must question in your question paper always. It is one of the question in the question paper. Okay, let us do it thoroughly, meaningfully, and step by step let us do it. Now let us have the two columns like this. In one column let us write class interval which is given in the question paper. In another column let us write frequency. Go on filling it. In the next step, we have to find xi, that is midpoint of the class interval. How can we find out? Let us add these two, 5 and 15. What is it? 20. 20 by 2, that is 10. Why do we need midpoint? Because mean is equal to summation of fi xi upon summation of fi. So here we want xi. Okay. How can you find the midpoint of the next class interval? Either you can add these two and divide it by 2, or you can go on adding class size. Class size is 10 here. 25 minus 15 is 10. 15 minus 5 is 10. Go on adding class size to get the next midpoint. Means you have to add 10 to 10, that is 20, 20 plus 10, that is 30, 30 plus 10, 40, 40 plus 10, 50. Now since we want the product of frequency and xi, what shall we do? Multiply these two and write it here. 3 into 20, 60. 5 into 30, 150, 4 into 40, 160, 2 into 50, that is 100. Now add frequency of the class interval to get summation of fi, that is also known as n. Okay, go on adding 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 4, 13, 13 plus 2 is 15. And go on adding the numbers in this column to get the summation of fi xi. What will you get? 480. Now we have summation of fi is equal to 15, summation of fi xi is equal to 480. Now we have to find mean. What is it? Summation of fi xi upon summation of fi. That means 480 by 15. 15 ones are 15 threes are 45, carry how much? 3. 30 means 15 twos are 30. So mean is equal to 32. Now there is an alternate choice for this question, which is also taken from the chapter statistics. Find the mode for the following frequency distribution table. This is the question. Write it once again. The same thing, class interval, frequency. And here observe the most repeated number. Here highest frequency is 8 because mode is equal to L plus F1 minus F0 upon 2F1 minus F0 minus F2 into H. Most repeated number is mode, that is F1. So this is F1. L is 3 to 5 is the modal class interval. 3 is the lower class limit of the modal class, and F0 is 7, F2 is 2. H is how much? You have to subtract lower limit of the class interval from the higher limit. Okay. 3 minus 1 is 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. So H is also is equal to 2. Now let us substitute the values like this. Here you know how to solve it. 8 minus 7 is 1. 2 into 8 is 15. Minus 7 minus 2 is minus 9. Let us write into 2. Here mod is equal to 3 plus 1 by 1 by 16 minus 9. 16 minus 9 is 7 into 2. That is equal to 3 plus 2 by 7. Here LCM is 7. So 3 into 7 is 29. As 3 into 7 is 21. 21 plus 2 divided by 7. So that is equal to 23 by 7. Mod is equal to 3.285 is the correct answer. So mod is equal to 3.29 because the last number is 5 here, or you can write this answer only. Okay, now let us move on to the 28th question, which is taken from the chapter Trigonometry. 1 plus sin A upon cos A plus cos A upon 1 plus sin A is equal to 2 tan A. Or you can also solve this question. Prove that square root of 1 plus sin A upon 1 minus sin A is equal to secant A plus tan A. Now let us solve this question. What is LHS here? 1 plus sin A upon cos A plus cos A upon 1 plus sin A. Now let us take the LCM. What is the LCM here? Cos A into 1 plus sin A. Here 1 plus sin A the whole square. Here plus cos square A. Now let us write. Now let us expand this one by using the formula A plus B the whole square. Here A is 1, B is sin A. So 1 square is 1 plus sin square A plus 2 sin A plus cos square A. This one has been written as such here upon cos A into 1 plus sin A. So 1 plus sin square A plus 2 sin A plus cos square A upon cos A into 1 plus sin A. If you add these two, you will get 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 2 sin A upon cos A into 1 plus sin A. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So 2 plus 2 sin A upon cos A into 1 plus sin A. That is equal to 2 into 1 plus y. 2 into 2 is common here. So 2 into 1 plus sin A upon cos A into 1 plus sin A. Now you can cancel 1 plus sin A in the numerator and in the denominator with each other. Then you will get 2 upon cos A. 1 upon cos A is equal to what? Secant A. So 2 into secant A, that is 2 secant A, which is equal to RHS, hence proved. Or you can also solve this question. Prove that under root 1 plus sin A upon 1 minus sin A is equal to secant A plus tan A. What is LHS? This is LHS. If you see such type of problem, you have to multiply both numerator and the denominator with the rationalizing form of the denominator. What is the rationalizing form here? 1 plus sin A. So now you can write like this: under root 1 plus sin A into 1 plus sin A in the numerator upon 1 minus sin A into 1 plus sin A in the denominator. Observe the numerator. You can write it like 1 plus sin A the whole square. Denominator is in the form of A minus B into A plus B. So now you can write A square minus B square. So now under root 1 plus sin A the whole square upon 1 minus sin square A. Here observe 1 minus sin square A is equal to cos square A. By using the identity cos square A plus sin square A is equal to 1. Okay, now like this: under root 1 plus sin A the whole square upon cos square A. You can observe that both numerator and denominator is in the square form, so you can cancel the under root form like this. Okay, so this is equal to 1 plus sin A upon cos A. Now separate this like this: 1 upon cos A plus sin A upon cos A. You know that 1 upon cos A is equal to what? It is secant A. Sin A upon cos A is equal to tan A, which is equal to RHS. Hence proved. Now let us solve the 29th question, which are taken from the chapter quadratic equation. You can solve any one of them. Now let us solve this question. The question is, ages of two students A and B are 19 years and 15 years respectively. Find how many years it will take so that the product of their ages become equal to 480. Now let us solve it. The age of A is 19 years. After X years, because we have to find the product of ages of A and B after some years. So after X years, A's age is 19 plus X. Age of B is given 15 years. The age of B after X years is 15 plus X years. Now, according to the given question, after some years, the product of their ages will be 480. So, 19 plus X into 15 plus X is equal to how much? 480. Let us write 19 plus X as X plus 19, 15 plus X as X plus 15 is equal to 480, because it will be easier to multiply these two by using the identity X plus A into X plus B. That is equal to X square plus A plus B. Here A is 19, B is 15 into X plus A into B. 19 into 15. That is equal to X square. 19 plus 15 is 34X. 19 into 15 is 285. That is equal to 480. X square plus 34x plus 285 is equal to 480. Now let us move 480 to LHS. So the equation now is x square plus 34x plus 285 negative of 480. Since it has been moved to LHS, the sign changes here. Now observe these two are like terms. So in the next step, negative of 195, negative of 480 plus 285 is negative of 195. So the equation now is x square plus 34x minus 195 is equal to 0. It is in the standard form. Now you can solve it either by factorization method or by formula method. Let me solve it by factorization method. We have to choose two numbers such that their sum will be positive of 34 and product will be negative of 195. Negative of 5 and 39 are two such numbers. If you add, you will get positive of 34. If you multiply, you will get negative of 195. Now group. So now it becomes x into x minus 5 plus 39 into x minus 5 is equal to 0. Again group x minus 5 into x plus 39 is equal to 0. So now x minus 5 is equal to 0 or x plus 39 is equal to 0. So x is equal to positive of 5, x is equal to 5 or x is equal to negative of 39. Since time cannot be negative, this value has been discarded. It is invalid value. X is equal to 5. So after 5 years, the product of their ages will be 480. This is the final answer. Or you can also solve this question. A student bought some books for rupees 60. Had he bought 5 more books for the same amount, each book would have cost rupees 1 less. Find the number of books bought by him. So now let us solve it. Let the number of books bought by a student be x because we have to find the number of books. So total cost of the books is 60 rupees, isn't it? It has been given. So the price of one book 60 by x rupees. If he had bought 5 more books, he would have x plus 5 books. New price per book would then be what? 60 by x plus 5 rupees. According to the given problem, this new price is 1 rupee less than the original price. This has cost is more than this cost, means 60 by x minus 60 by x plus 5 is equal. So our next task is to set up the equation. Now 60 by x minus 60 by x plus 5 is equal to 1. Now let us take the LCM. X into x plus 5 in the numerator, 60 into x plus 5 minus 60x, that is equal to 1. Here observe 60 is common. Here you can also multiply 60 into x plus 60 into 5 minus 60x. But I am following the method to take the common thing outside. So 60 into x plus 5 minus x, this x, upon here multiply x into x, x square, x into 5 is 5x, that is equal to 1. Here observe x and x get cancelled. 60 into 5 is equal to how much? 300. Cross multiply x square plus 5x. X square plus 5x is equal to 300. Now let us write it in the standard form. X square plus 5x minus 300 is equal to 0. Now let us follow the factorization method to solve it. We have to find two numbers, isn't it? Negative of 15, positive of 20. Which is if you add you will get positive of 5. If you multiply you will get negative of 300. Now group, here x is common, here 20 is common. So x into x minus 15 plus 20 into x minus 15 is equal to 0. Now x minus 15 common into x plus 20 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 15 or x is equal to 20. Negative of 20, be careful. X is equal to 20 is invalid. Why? Number of books cannot have negative value. Cannot be negative. So x is equal to 15. Therefore, the student has bought 15 books. This is the solution for this question. Now, let us move on to the 30th question of State Level Preparatory Exam 2. When a die is rolled once, find the probability of getting a number on the top face, which is there are three questions. The first one is greater than 2. Second one is lesser than or equal to 2. Third one a prime number. Now let us solve it. It is taken from the chapter probability. We are rolling a standard 6-sided die with the faces numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number of outcomes 6. So number of S is 6. Now let us find the probability of getting a number on the top face which is greater than 2. Let A be the outcome. Numbers greater than 2 are 3, 4, 5, 6. Means 4 outcomes. So number of A is equal to 4. Probability of an event P of A here is number of A upon number of S. That is equal to 4 by 6. We can cancel the numbers with the 2. 2 2s are, 2 3s are. So 2 by 3. It is the answer here. The second one is to find the probability of a number lesser than or equal to 2. Numbers lesser than or equal to 2 are 1 and 2, means 2 outcomes. So number of B is 2. So P of B means probability of getting a number lesser than or equal to 2 is number of B upon number of S. Number of B is 2, number of S is 6. 2 1s are, 2 3s are. So that is equal to 1 by 3. It is the answer here. The third problem here is to find the number of probability of getting a prime number. Prime numbers between 1 and 6 are 2, 3, 5 means 3 outcomes. So number of C is 3. P of C, probability of getting a prime number is number of C upon number of S, that is equal to 3 by 6, that is equal to 1 by 2. Now let us solve the 31st question of SSLC Preparatory Exam 2 for the year 2025 to 26. ABCD is a parallelogram, figure is given. E is a point on BC. Diagonal BD intersects the line joining A and E at F. Prove that DF into EF is equal to FB into FA. Or you can also solve the other question, this question. Now let us solve this question. Now let us solve what has been given here. ABCD is a parallelogram. E is a point on BC. Observe the point there in the figure. Diagonal BD intersects AE at F. What is to prove? DF into EF is equal to FB into FA. DF into EF is equal to FB into FA. Okay. Now let us prove. Now let us select the triangles AFD and the triangle EFB. Observe the figure. Here angle 4 is equal to angle 3 because they are alternate angles. Means angle ADF is equal to, or FDA is equal to FBE. ADF is also is equal to FDA. Okay. Why? They are alternate angles. Angle 1 is equal to angle 2 because they are vertically opposite angles. Angle AFD is equal to angle EFB. Why? They are vertically opposite angles. It means that triangle AFD is similar to triangle EFB. Why? Because of angle similarity criterion. Angle similarity criterion. It means that FA, where is FA? This one, upon EF is equal to DF upon BF or FB. Both are same. Why? Corresponding sides of similar triangles are always proportional. It means that now cross multiply DF into EF is equal to FB into FA. This is the result we wanted to prove, hence proved. Or you can also solve this question. The sides AB and BC and median AD of triangle ABC, observe the figure has been given here, are respectively proportional to the sides PQ and QR, and the median PM of triangle PQR show that triangle ABC is similar to triangle PQR. What has been given here? Triangles ABC and PQR. ABC and PQR are given. AD is the median of triangle ABC. PM is the median of triangle PQR. And we are also given that AB by PQ is equal to BC by QR is equal to AD by PM. To prove triangle ABC is similar to triangle PQR. The similar question has been given in the previous preparatory exam question paper or model question paper. I have forgotten which one. If you remember correct, put it in the comment box. Instead of BC by QR, they have given that AC by PR, means AC is proportional to PR. Okay, that problem was a little bit difficult, but here it is very easy. Now let us prove it. We are given that AB by PQ is equal to BC by QR is equal to AD by PM. Here observe, BD is equal to half BC. QM is equal to half QR because D is the midpoint of BC, M is the midpoint of QR. So now let us replace BC and QR by half BC and half QR. So AB by PQ, observe half BC is equal to BD. Half QR is equal to QM. We have to select BD and QM only, not DC by MR, because we are given AB by PQ. So now we are concentrating on the triangle BDA here PQM. Okay, that is equal to AD by PM. It implies that triangle ABD is similar to triangle PQM. Why? Yes, similarity criterion. It means that angle ABD, this angle, is equal to angle PQM. Why? Corresponding angles of similar triangles. It means that ABD is also is equal to angle ABC. PQM is also is equal to PQR. So angle ABC is equal to angle PQR. In triangle ABC and triangle PQR, we have proved that we are given that, not proved. Proved angle B is equal to angle Q. Okay, let us come to this point later on. AB by PQ is equal to BC by QR, isn't it? And it is given angle ABC is equal to angle PQR. We have just proved it, isn't it? So triangle ABC is similar to triangle PQR. Why? Here side, angle, side similarity criterion. SAS similarity criterion. Hence proved. Now let us move on to the 32nd question. Prove that tangent at any point of the circle is perpendicular to the radius through the point of contact. What has been given here? A circle with center O and with the tangent XY at the point of contact P. To prove, what to prove? OP perpendicular OP is perpendicular to XY. Now let us do some construction. What do we have to construct? Let us plot a point Q on XY other than P. Observe the figure, you will understand. Join OQ. Now let us prove it. Proof. The point Q must lie outside the circle, isn't it? This is the point Q. It lies outside the circle. You can observe here. Therefore, OQ is longer than the radius OP of the circle. So, OQ is greater than OP. Since this happens for every point on the line XY, if Q is here also, then what? OQ is greater than OP, except on the point P. OP is the shortest of all distances of the point O to the points of XY. So OP is perpendicular to XY. Now let us move on to the next question. It is 33rd question. In the figure has been given. Observe it carefully. OE is the center of the circle with radius 14 cm. The length of the perpendicular drawn from the center of the circle to the chord is 7 cm. If angle AOB is 120 degree, then find the area of the segment APB. Take root 3 is equal to 1.7. This thing you need not write it in your answer script. To make you to understand, I have written it. Okay. To find the area of the segment APB, we have to subtract the area of the triangle from the area of the sector AOBP. It is the sector AOPB. From its area, you have to subtract area of the triangle AOB. Then you will get the area of APB. Now you have to write in your answer script from here. What has been given in the question? It is radius. Radius is 14 cm. OB and OA are the radii of the circle, that is 14 cm. Now length of the perpendicular. Perpendicular is OD. OD is equal to 7 cm. Angle AOB is 120 degree, full angle. So angle DOB is equal to 60 degree. This one is 60 degree. As well as DOA is also 60 degree. What to find out? Area of the segment APB. Now area of the segment APB is equal to area of the sector OAPB minus area of the triangle OAB. Area of the sector formula, theta by 360 into pi r square. Here we know the value of theta, that is 120. Pi, radius 14 cm. So we can take pi as 22 by 7. Since 14 is cancelled by 7. Area of the triangle is half into base into height. Height is OD, that is 7 cm. We know it. Base is AB. We don't know the value of AB. We have to find it. Okay. Now let us find the area of the sector OAPB. How can we find? By substituting the value of theta as 120, radius as 14 cm. Okay. Now it is 1 by 3, isn't it? 12 ones are, 12 threes are. Here 7 ones are, 7 twos are 14. So 2 into, here there are 2 14s are there. 7 twos are 14, this 2. 7, in the denominator 7 gets cancelled into 14. Here 22. That is equal to 205.33 centimeter square. Now area of triangle OAB, you already know. You don't know AB, isn't it? How can we find AB? By applying the value of sin 60 in triangle ODB. DB by OB is sin 60, opposite by hypotenuse. Sin 60 is root 3 by 2. Opposite we don't know, DB we don't know, hypotenuse is 14 centimeter. So cross multiply. DB is equal to 14 root 3 by 2. 2 7s are 14, so it is equal to 7 root 3 centimeter. DB is equal to 7 root 3 centimeter. But we want AB. How can we get it? AB is equal to 2 dB into 7 root 3 centimeter. That is 14 root 3 centimeter. Now area of triangle OAB, let us continue it. Half into AB into OD. AB we have find it out. What is it? 14 root 3 centimeter. Look at the figure now and then. I have put all the values there. Okay. Now simplify it. Put root 3 is equal to 1.7 here. Now simplify it. 2 1s are 2 7s are. So 7 into 1.7 into 7. That is equal to 83.3 centimeter square. There are two methods to find the AB here. You can also apply Pythagoras theorem. 14 square minus 7 square. Find the value and take the square root of it. Then you will get DB. Then you can find AB as usual. Now area of the segment APB, as we have already told, area of the sector OAPB minus area of the triangle OAB. We have already find the area of sector OAPB. It is 205.33 centimeter square. Area of the triangle OAB is equal to 83.3 centimeter square, which is equal to 122.03 centimeter square. So area of the segment APB is equal to 122.03 centimeter square. Well done. We have finished all the 3 marks question of second preparatory exam. Since these problems are repeated in previous papers, practicing them ensures you are fully prepared. Keep revising, stay confident, and remember, mathematics becomes simple when solved step by step. See you in the next video with the more exam focused solutions. All the best for your SLC exams.